Hey guys, so I'm going to be going over the full moon coming up on February 1st. It's on a Sunday at 17:10 military time. So what is that? 5 is that 5? 5:10 p.m. And that's EST, okay? And the system that I use, by the way, this is Astrology Master, which I found to be like the best app to use for astrology. The system I use, if anybody wants to try it out. So in the settings, you do the Placidus as the default house system, sidereal as the zodiac system, in the I don't know how to say this, Namsha, you put Deluxe, Deluce. The centric setting, I put geocentric. And then for the progressions, I do 361 degrees. But yeah, I found this to be super, super accurate. And it's like to the point where it's like creepy. Okay. So if you live in this area, you might resonate with this stuff. It's definitely worth checking out. And if like you guys do see that it's accurate for yourselves, okay? So the sun in Capricorn in the 15th degree. So Sabian symbols is based off of like the degrees of the zodiac. So I'm just going to read off like the definition or whatever. Sabian symbols are 360 symbolic images, each linked to a specific degree of the zodiac, offering profound insights for astrology by adding depth to planetary placements representing life's journey, challenges, and potentials for personal growth. Okay, so I'm just going to go over a few of these that I find interesting. We're going to start off with the sun in Capricorn in the 15th. In a hospital, the children's ward is filled with toys. So this symbol shows the ability or the need to heal, to calm and soothe and repair the lives of those who need your help, comfort, and shelter. In times of healing, there is the need for simple pleasures to raise the spirits, whether it's of children or people of any age. The toys in the hospital can be healing toys of any tools of any kind. It doesn't matter what type of modality they are. If they bring relief and joy to someone's life, they fill a need. There's also a need for caring shows of affectionate concern. I actually like definitely noticed this today. I mean, I don't know if this is like so like, oh my God, like uncanny coincidence or whatever, you know. But usually no one ever offers to help me like shovel, and as you might know, it just snowed a lot on the East Coast. But someone actually offered to help me today, and I was like kind of shocked, but you know, I didn't have another shovel, and I was like, it's fine. I need exercise anyway, but I think usually before the full moon, like the week before the full moon, whatever energies are coming in, you'll start to see them presenting themselves before that. Okay, so the caution, making a show when one doesn't really care, so like being fake, hypochondria, sickness, attention seeking, fearing needles and medical gadgets, being greedy and needy. So the fearing needles and medical gadgets, somebody might oh geez, I got not notification. I need to put on do not disturb. Hold on, I didn't even read what that said. Usually like, but I'm not doing like an oracle reading. So usually if something pops up, people like readers will like take that as a sign or a message. You know, it could be relative, but I didn't even see what it said. Anyways, so somebody might end up in the hospital and they might be afraid of needles and medical gadgets, and this is cautioning against that because otherwise you're not going to get the help you need. Okay? Let's see what else. So the moon is in Cancer in the 15th degree. Excuse me. A group of people who have overeaten and enjoyed it. This symbol implies situations that have overindulged, overextended themselves, overcommitted, or overspent in some way. This can be through overeating, or it can be through material excess, spending too much, doing anything to extremes. There can be a feeling of pleasure and satisfaction, but there must be a return to more down-to-earth matters or work. I definitely felt this energy too the past couple days. I was like having a really hard time. I just recently quit smoking after I've quit like a million times, but and I was just like weaning myself off with like cigars. And I was just like doing too much, okay? And so there's definitely that energy is definitely out there right now. Cuz it was like weird, all right? Anyway, periodically, you may need to curb your indulging for a while in order to digest what you've taken on. Otherwise, waste and ill health could result. The caution, self-indulgence, largely through the senses, the haves and the have-nots, obesity, gluttony, overspending, bad nourishment, commercialism. So, yeah, being aware of that is super important. For the energies right now, and yeah. So I think this one's a good one to talk about as well. Mercury in Capricorn in the 23rd degree. A soldier receiving 2 awards for bravery in combat. This symbol shows the ability or their need to be able to receive praise, awards, or rewards when they are due. We often need to be acknowledged for the issues or causes we fought for and the battles we've endured. Throughout life, you will probably find this to be an issue. True deeds of valor and bravery should be rewarded. Whether you are rewarded, respected, or recognized for the good things you've done or not, you'll know that you've done them. You will find that your efforts will, at some time, be recognized, and some appreciation, payment, or compensation will be offered. You may also be the one who needs to recognize others' achievements. Subsequent awards are often greater than the first because the dangers are well understood. I'm not really sure what that means. What there. Repeated bravery, medals. Oh, like being repeatedly brave. Oh, okay, yeah. Excuse me, I had a cough. Okay. So, having the second baby, giving thanks, recognition for persistence, award ceremony. Okay, the caution. Awards as band-aids for the purposes of assuaging the guilt of the populace, so often produced in war. Just desperate for recognition. So, like, yeah, there could be, like, say, for example, like, Israel coming out and being like, oh, like trying to say sorry for something, but they're like half-assing it or whatever. Like, and besides, like, you know, things that are serious, like there needs to be serious amends taken. Okay, serious amends, not just like, oh yeah, it was a mistake. Okay, and then continue to keep doing it. Like, that's not how that works. And then it's funny, we go into a general accepting defeat gracefully. This symbol shows the ability or their need to be able to see where and when to accept that things are not working and letting go of events or people or thoughts that no longer work for you. There's times when we realize there's no longer any point in fighting, and to win in some situations may be impossible. At the time of surrender, it is the valor of the battle and the way you handled yourself and others that will be remembered. You may find yourself at this point during your life, and it is how gracefully you handle defeat that will be the measure of your worth. You will go on to other endeavors and win. You don't always have to accept defeat. Sometimes you have to accept your own successes. All right, and this is where I'm going to end it for my TT viewers, because we're almost at the 10-minute mark, but I'm going to keep going for YT. So head over there if you're interested in hearing the rest of this, because it does get pretty interesting. I like to scroll all the way to the bottom. That's usually where the juicy stuff is. And so we'll start with this one. So the heaven in Aries in the fourth, two lovers are strolling through a secluded walk. This symbol speaks of spending time with a lover, with loved ones, or addresses the issue of being alone versus being lonely. Being with someone you love and enjoying their presence without rush or pressure is likely to be important, even if this means being with that part of you that you never seem to give yourself much time for. You should be able to escape the realities of the world and touch the deeper feelings of your heart without fear of being excluded or criticized. Try to find some time for quiet romance and balance. Walking love's path, secret love affairs, being undisturbed, being happy alone, or wondering where the other is, the need for seclusion, peace, and privacy. The caution is being selfish, keeping one's partner to yourself. I mean, if you keep your partner to yourself, there could be like a legitimate reason, like to protect them for some reason. I don't know. Jealousy, or maybe I think it means like being possessive though. Jealousy when others are around. Yeah, being afraid to commit to relationship, feeling left out and uninvited. So being balanced within these things is going to help. So one thing I neglected to mention with these Sabian symbols is I've actually like found that some of the stuff that is in here for like, I'll look in my transit, like or not my transit, my natal. So like if you're familiar with the Astrology Master, so you could choose like a date that you've made or whatever, like your own chart. And it's been super accurate. Like for my natal, it's been insanely accurate. It is insanely accurate. And I was just like, what? And then what I meant to say before is like, as far as the transit, I've looked up like the daily transit, and it's just from my area. You can't do like, a personal transit thing, like it doesn't work like that. But it's been personal, like a lot of the stuff in there, it's like an overview of the energy in the area that you're in, and it shows like the highlight reels. So it's pretty cool. It's really cool actually. So the next one, a group of people have overeaten and enjoyed it. We already did that. So a lot of these will be repeated. Two lovers. I don't know why. Actually, I don't know why it does that. Midheaven. Why does it do that? Like repeat itself. Maybe that's an error on the app's side, or it's something I'm just not understanding. Or it's like representing it's like that energy is just like super prevalent. I don't know. A group of people who've overeaten and enjoyed it again. Okay, natural steps up to a lawn blooming in clover. This is one I've seen several times when I've been checking in on the dailies. So this symbol often shows comfort, luxury, riches, beauty, and the good things in life. It implies that a time of fulfillment is close by, but there often is still some small effort to be made, in that one has to take the simple steps towards inviting wonderful things into your life. Okay, sorry guys. I have to keep pausing the video because like my throat is just like not doing good this morning. I got like a protein smoothie and it's not agreeing with my throat. Okay, anyways, keep going the way you are, following your natural intuition, and you will find the peace you have in sight. Just be aware not to become complacent or lazy, as doing nothing and not putting any effort in could lead to great possibilities slipping away. Keywords: hopefulness, inspirational possibilities, gradually enlarging one's vision, harmony. Okay, so what else? The caution, looking for the easy way out, not making effort to find what is a few steps away, expecting everything to be laid out for you, weeds and unkempt life. So staying focused, not feeding into the sunken place where you just kind of give up or whatever. If something goes wrong or seems to go wrong or like not according to plan, not just throwing in the towel and saying fuck everything, because like I know how that feels. Don't do that. Okay. Next, we have Aldebaran and Taurus in the 12th. If you guys don't know, Aldebaran represents Archangel Michael, which actually that's really important because this full moon is on a Sunday, which is ruled by Archangel Michael. Okay. Sunday is also ruled by the sun. So the sun placement, super important. Okay, anyway. A young couple walk down Main Street window shopping. This symbol shows an image of a young couple window shopping, imagining and picturing what they want for their future. Some things may be out of reach, but that doesn't stop you looking, planning, and dreaming of what might be. Enjoy the interlude, then get back to your real life where you can take steps to make money or put your plans into actuality rather than just looking. So, another thing that just came to my mind with all of these Sabian symbols is like you can actually, what you can do is if you resonate with any of these little like stories, they're symbolic images, you can actually try to do this thing like on that day and like participate in whatever the energy is that you want to tap into. Okay. So like for this one, for example, so like you on this day, you can go window shopping with your friend or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, whatever, your child, whatever. And okay. And then you'll probably get some inspiration because it's saying like planning and dreaming of what might be. Enjoy the interlude, then get back to your real life where you can take the steps to make money or put your plans into actuality rather than just looking. Jealousy and greed can rise up when there seems to be so much so close. Realize that things of inner worth are available to you right now. So another thing with that is like keeping your plans to yourself as far as like don't tell anybody your plans where there's somebody that means a lot to you, and say for example like your brother, okay? And then you tell him your plans and the way he responds kind of like really brings you down as far as your momentum, your willpower, your energy towards this goal because he responds so negatively or so rudely or he just doesn't care, right? And so don't do that. Like don't share your plans with anyone who like could potentially do that to you, okay? Consumerism and its allure, shared dreams, buying more and more. Okay. Those who want to look but don't commit, that kind of thing is the caution, okay? And overspending, it said. All right. Retired Army veterans gather to reawaken old memories. This symbol shows reunions and gathering together with people who have shared histories, struggles, or issues. A reunion can ignite feelings of camaraderie, companionship, and triumph, sometimes along with great passions. As these are retired Army veterans, it's through the passing of time and with the hindsight of age that many things can be faced, healed, and laid to rest. In going over the memories of old battles, you may find the clues for current ones. However, this degree can show a personality that goes over and over old hurts, injuries, diseases, etc. The trick also is not to see others as the enemy, but rather see in everyone the possibility of friendship. Ooh, I really like that. I'm really sorry for my throat, guys. My throat is like not doing great right now. So basically, like, being able to share past experiences that you gained wisdom from, but being able to connect the dots between the experience and the wisdom, and not the just dwelling on the trauma or making the whole story about the trauma, okay? And also not just like yapping about past things and not receiving any feedback, not allowing that back and forth. That can be a problem. I know I've had that problem in my life so many times. It can be hard because if you're like trying to get a thought out or whatever, you don't have anybody to talk to really, and then you get that chance, it could be like word vomit. So this is just saying like to caution about it. Hold on. I don't know what that was. My computer just kept beeping. I don't know. I don't know what that was. But anyway, okay. I think that's good for that one. Let's see what else. A large white dove bearing a message. Alright, this symbol shows the ability of their need to be able to spread messages that bring solace, comfort, and joy to those who need help. A large white dove brings messages, possibly ones you've been waiting for some time. You may need to resolve your situation by relying on peaceful messages that come from your spiritual center. They should be offered with gentleness and without malice. It can indicate either being seen as a savior or one who needs saving, as you will at times be the one bearing a message, at other times receiving the message. Whichever side of the equation you're on, there can be relief once you've been able to assimilate the meaning and what's being revealed to you. Blessings delivered, all is well, celebration, someone who brings blessed relief to others, news, announcements, issues of hope and salvation, birds, spiritual messages. The caution, sticking with the assumption that things will never improve, refusing solace, shooting the messenger, not being content no matter what's said, and depression. So finding that balance between receiving and giving messages. So being open to hearing others' insights, and taking, recognizing what you can gain from others' insights or what they're sharing with you. There's always something to gain, no matter like what your initial reaction may be. There's always something that you could gain. Whether that be like knowledge to help you in your specific situation, or your judgment on the person giving the message can actually be a reflection on your own insecurities. So if you're aware of that, then you could, you can look at, if you're aware of that, when that happens, it can help you to see like what's going on with your own insecurities. Also, by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen like one of my shorts. I mentioned it, I think. If you feel yourself like being judgmental towards somebody, or like giving them kind of like the evil eye, and you really don't want to, it just kind of happens or something, or you feel like they think you're like, they're giving off a vibe like they think you don't like them or whatever. An ancient technique that I learned from the Doctrine and Ritual of High Magic by Eliphas Levi is to put your thumb behind your hand and then put your hand behind your back. I don't know. It just works, okay? So, next one. A girl's face breaking into a smile. This symbol shows the ability or the necessity of putting on a happy face. I've never seen this one before. Smiling and being warm and welcoming. The fact that the girl's face is breaking into a smile implies that she may not always be smiling. She may not always have things to smile about. However, the act of smiling helps to draw people closer, to give people permission to get to know you. Smiling is the simple sense of inner happiness shining through, but this is more than just an expression of pleasure or joy. It is the expression of your ability to choose between happiness and unhappiness, and then choosing to express it. Smile and see how things change. True smiling can be infectious and lighten the mood of those around you. Sometimes, like, recently, I've had such a hard time, like, smiling. Not, like, the past couple days. I would say I've been, like, okay. But, like, I would say before that, like, up to 2 weeks, it was, like, hard for me to smile sometimes. I was, like, I felt like one of those creatures from, like, one of those, like, spooky, scary story animations. If you watch Corey Kenshin, you know. And it's like trying to smile, like looking mad awkward and stuff. Yeah. Okay, anyway. Smiling is the simple sense of inner happiness, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, just so the point of me even in telling that was, like, it might be hard to smile sometimes. And in the other Sabian symbol is talking about a caution being falling into depression, right? But just the simple act of even, like, forcing yourself to smile actually kind of, like, it tricks your brain into producing, like, like dopamine and all that happy stuff, right? It kind of tricks your brain into thinking you're happy. Woo! So it can help. Anyway, drawing others, willingness to relate. I don't know what that means, drawing others. Like, drawing others towards you. Willingness to relate, things that make one happy, breaking the ice, smiling or frowning, facial expressions, facial feedback. You know, and also, like, if you are sad, it's fine to be sad. But like I said, you know, just smiling can actually, like, help your brain think you're happy. Also, obviously, exercising is really useful at that. I don't want anyone to ever feel like they need to smile. They're being forced to smile. I know so many females grew up in high school and everything, like, and even to this day, like, hearing men be like, you'd be so much more beautiful if you just smiled. Like, I literally had, like, the jock in school say that to me as I passed by. I'm like, bro, like, I have nothing to smile about. I'm in the ghetto, in this ghetto ass school with you. So so anyway, and then also I remember when I was real little in elementary school, everyone in my class, like, the teacher started it. Was it the teacher? No, it was I think it was my Girl Scouts. Yeah, we had, like, Girl Scout meetings, like, at my school. Anyway, I remember, like, the troop leaders, they were saying, they, like, took up a bet on if they could get me to smile before the end of the year. Like, I guess I came off really miserable. I don't know. I had a rough childhood, but but I don't know. So, like, but that's a little different. That's not, like, the chauvinistic crap, but, you know, it does also, like, single somebody out. Like, why aren't you smiling? You know, like, you know, it's kind of messed up to say that, like, in front of everybody. Anyway, okay, let's move on. A third wing on the left side of a butterfly. Libra in the 24th. Okay, this symbol can show imbalances of many kinds, be they physical, mental, spiritual, or emotional. Understanding and accepting fragility and differences in ourselves and others can give greater empathy for those who have difficulty operating efficiently in the world. When the transformation into full potential occurs, it is a wonderful thing. However, you may feel that you are unnaturally developed or somehow lopsided in the emotive, intuitive realms. Instinct may swamp logic, or logic may take from your instinct or intuition. Physically, you could find that one side of your body works more efficiently or smoothly than the other. It helps to try to regain balance and equilibrium in your life. More can be achieved by finding that still space in the middle. Okay, so this really brings up the whole left brain, right thing for me. Left brain, right brain. I feel like I did not just say that properly, but whatever. Um, so the whole thing with the left brain, right brain is like a way that we were all socially conditioned. I believe, like, at a young age, and like all of us are capable of using both sides, and we need to use both sides. So there's like techniques that you can do. Crap, I'm trying to remember where I learned this from, but, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. There's a technique where you could strengthen the ability to use both sides of your brain. I think it's, you write the alphabet with one hand, and then you write numbers with the other hand. I think it's like 1 through 20 with one hand, and then the alphabet with the other hand at the same time. So you just practice that like every day, and then that will strengthen the connection between your left and right brain. And then you won't have so many issues with trusting your intuition, which intuition is actually, the foundation of intuition is mathematical, from what I've learned. Because if you're mathematically informed, like mathematically talented, mathematically knowledgeable, you're able to subconsciously do, because you know the formulas, you know the equations, you're subconsciously able to like do the math in your head in real time as it's happening, and better able to navigate like dangerous circumstances or difficult circumstances. Say for example, like a piano is falling and it's about to hit you, like you would know exactly the trajectory that's going to fall and like where exactly you need to move. I don't, that's a horrible example, but I think you kind of get what I'm saying. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. Anyway, a Red Cross nurse with warm sympathy. This symbol shows caring, sympathy, and nursing others so they may find health and comfort. So again, with this healing stuff is important. You probably have a lot of work of your own, but you have to give your time to those needing help first. A great deal of inner healing can be achieved when helping. However, this can be difficult when you have to do too much. You may have to cross over into the dark side in order to bring light to situations. Okay, okay. Being difficult when you have to do too much. You may have to cross over into the dark side in order to bring light to situations. Adopt a hands-on attitude to looking after others and ensure they get their needs met. I'm not really sure what they mean by stepping over into the dark side. I mean, especially with a nurse, I feel like that's a little... Oh, I get what it's saying. It's just saying, like, don't let yourself become overburdened or spent. Know your boundaries, draw your lines, and refuse to relent on those boundaries. Even if like the whole world's crashing down on you, there's like somebody bleeding out on the table in front of you, there's somebody with their legs snapped in half or whatever, you got a baby screaming over here, like, you can only do so much. Do what you can. Do what you can and be compassionate and understanding and caring with yourself first and foremost. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to give that to anybody else. Finding reserves of energy to keep going, giving and also receiving, healing. The caution, fussing and doing more than one needs to, being a doormat and doing more than your share, being officious and bossy. I don't know what officious means. I'm not bossy, okay. Feeling used, unable to rest. Okay. Next one. Says we already did this one. In a hospital, children's words filled with toys. Okay, this one. A Chinese woman nursing a baby whose aura reveals him to be the reincarnation of a great teacher. This symbol shows someone who is young or inexperienced but is more possessed of greatness than might at first be apparent. Like the woman nursing this child, being able to recognize brilliance, truth, and beauty in others or in your own self can bring many rewards. There's often the sense that someone's an old soul, even though they're young in their years or their experience. They are ahead of their time or have talents beyond the norm. Dane Rudyard, I don't know how to say that, guys, said this degree is the promise to all men that God may take birth within their souls. I love that. Good nourishment and care will nourish this great potential. Nurturing innocence and the selfless rewards it can bring. Reincarnation, unique and special talents recognized, indigo children, monks, and the Dalai Lama knowledge. The caution, being unable to see simple messages. That goes back to all the other symbols that we're talking about. Being able to receive and transmute messages. So in order to receive messages, sometimes we have to be in solitude. Or we have to be fully present while we're receiving the message. We can't be doing 15 million other things. Anyway, overcome with complexity, demanding to be noticed, precocious behavior, being pushy and demanding. Okay. Okay, a vast panorama of sand and time is unfolding. The pyramids and the Sphinx in their glory rise before the eye. This degree shows the power and strength of history and grandeur, along with issues to do with spiritual mysteries and intellectual records, and the building of grand monuments and empires. An interest in ancient civilizations often comes with this degree, or there may be the desire or need to establish some type of monument, or perhaps work at it or worship it. You may be working at building an empire, yours or another's, as this often implies pyramid selling and large economic structures. You may need a tour guide and a map and the determination to build things in exact measurements. Power of the past coming through, spiritual ancestry, big business and enterprises, predictions, profits, desire to build a personal edifice, ancient languages, lost cities. The caution, slave labor, looting, enormity of big business, great treasures robbed by the greedy, monuments that belittle others, and having a know-it-all attitude, rich versus poor. So a few of my readings, I think it was just yesterday, they were talking about the building, essentially like cities of light, like building up, like making things more beautiful, okay? And I was talking about more like like how things could be progressed so much more, like advanced, if the leaders that were in charge took their heads out of their asses and like actually like worked towards goals that would help people, and help our society. But I neglected to mention that, you know, the civilizations of the past, like Lemuria is a big one that's talked about a lot. Atlantis is a huge one that's talked about a lot. These cities were so beautiful. The technology was so advanced, but they fell. So my point is like, using the guide, like using the past, but also using using your imagination and using the future to build what's to come. And keeping in mind, you know, integrity in the buildings, like not having monuments and structures that are like representing somebody who's like a big business tycoon who doesn't care about anybody. that's stupid. Like, and it's better just to have like monuments and stuff that represent like ideas or represent like the idea of love, okay? Like something like that. I don't know. Having integrity in building and utilizing ancient civilizations and structures for inspiration, and putting a modern twist on it is, I think, the message there. Okay. We already did the lawn blooming with clover. Gradually, yeah, we already did that one. The groundhog looking for its shadow on Groundhog Day. This symbol shows the ability or the desire to have signs and predictions to give you insights into the future. By looking at past experience, you may find the signs. However, there's a need to look closely at what's happening, as you could find yourself on a kind of merry-go-round, waking up each day to the same dilemma, question, or problem. The solutions to your questions are often close by and easy to perceive and based in your normal life and relationships. Don't try to read too much into situations, but do take a good look at how you come across in relation to other people. Do you keep repeating the same mistakes? Perhaps you are someone who helps others get over their past, freeing them up for having a better, brighter future. Look back, read the signs, divination, predictions, prognosticating, prophets that read the weather, waking up to the same situation every day, psychoanalysis, analyzing your shadow self, the caution, scared to act without some message of confirmation, looking for someone to blame, relying on the same solution without consideration, blizzards, and cold. Okay. So for this one, being realistic, not falling into patterns where you're becoming obsessed or needy on anything in life. Like, you don't ever want to do that. So if you're, say you're obsessed with like tarot, you're obsessed with astrology, something like that, like taking a look at it, taking a long look at that habit and really reeling it in and limiting the time you spend on things that you're like obsessing over or whatever. You want to have your information from multiple sources. You want to take information from all different sources and then put it together and make your own I want to say dissertation. A dissertation. Your own conclusion. Draw your own conclusion. There you go. Draw your own conclusions based on a compilation of information and your discernment, not just one source. Even if it's like, say you're a tarot reader, not just relying on your own. A lot of tarot readers don't read for themselves because of the bias and all of that, and it can be really hard, like, to read for yourself. But if you do read for yourself, allowing someone else to also read for you, taking some advice, some insights from a few other sources is what's being recommended here. Okay. Vesta in Capricorn in the 13th. A fire worshiper meditates on the ultimate realities of existence. Ooh, this is another one I haven't heard before. Alright, so this degree shows the ability or the need to be able to focus thoughts, to meditate, or to find their center. The fire worshiper can be very intensely interested or passionate about something, throwing themselves into the middle of something, getting as much out of the experience, event, or study as they can. At times in your life, you are likely to find yourself very focused with a great passion for something that really ignites your interest. There could be a sense of danger in some respects, but also a sense of new beginnings. Harnessing your personal resources, particularly your rich inner life, can create magic. Look through appearances to get to the heart of matters. Self-conquest, kundalini, reach for a higher state of being, incense, obsession, even to the point of self-obliteration. The hypnotic spellfire can cast. Oh, the hypnotic spell fire can cast. I read that wrong. Questions of existence, meditation, fire, the meaning of life, Zoroastrianism. Can't say that. Hypnotic spells, philosophy, the caution, overestimating personal power, going too deeply, playing with danger. So, like, passion is a really great thing. A lot of people have, like, their passion is, like, almost extinguished, right? From being jaded, from going through so much trauma. So if you are passionate about something, that's so important. But making sure you don't lose yourself in it, okay? Because at the end of the day, you can be passionate about something, but that's not you. You're still separate from that, okay? Like, that's not your whole identity, all right? There's so much more to you than whatever it is that you're passionate about. So not losing yourself in that, not over exerting and overextending yourself in that. Yeah, that's basically it. That's all I gotta say about that. And then we have the hospital. Guests are reading in the library of a luxurious home. The symbol points to the desire, the ability to relax and retire into luxury, being able to do what one wants, and to share quiet moments of reflection and sharing with others. There's an opportunity to relax and enjoy yourself here, and there's time to catch up on the attitudes of others without any pressure. Sharing your ideas, time, and energy with others can be rewarding on many levels. This symbol implies both luxury and indulgence. There does, however, need to be caution against self-indulgence, as time can slip away if you're not paying attention to what needs to be done around you. All right, so sharing of thoughts and ideas, environments of luxury and social privilege, publishing, the caution, relating on a superficial level, being told to keep quiet, being concerned about how the neighbors will react. So basically, Spirit's saying this is a time for fun, to relax and enjoy yourself. Maybe listen to music loudly or dance and just make some noise. And, like, don't give a crap what anybody else thinks, as long as you're not, like, breaking the walls down and stuff, like, you know. Like, I live in a townhouse, and there's a newborn baby next door, so, like, I'm not going to blast music to where the walls are shaking, okay? All right, anyway. So, deep sea divers with special machinery. Oh, one more thing I want to say about this one also is, like, if you are somebody who's, like, privileged, quote unquote, okay, making sure that you are not sticking your nose up at everybody and sitting on your throne and, like, judging everybody so harshly. Like I said earlier, you know, if you feel yourself judging people, it's typically there's a high likelihood that it's because it's a reflection on yourself and your insecurities, okay? So, anyway, sometimes judgments are justified, though, you know? But there's judgment and then there's justice, right? And it's like everyone's interpretation of those things varies. They're so subjective. So trying to remain objective as much as possible will definitely help. Maybe brushing up on, like, ethics and morality, different thought forms of those things might help. All right, anyway, next one. Lilith and Scorpio on the 7th. Deep sea divers with special machinery. This symbol implies the ability or the need for the faculty of being able to see deep down into the depths of things. Their special machinery allows them to piece the darkness and observe things that others don't have eyes to see or the intuition to pick up. You may find you have the need or the desire to get deep below the surface to find out what's going on or to make discoveries about people in life. It is down within the unconscious and your intuitive wisdom that you may need to search for solutions. Breath meditations may help induce the positive, rewarding side of the symbol. Plunging into risky situations will prove to be both rewarding and interesting in some measure. Always remember to breathe. Studying unconscious energies, uncovering wonders, seeing things others can't, operating in different realms. Oh, Atlantis and Lemuria. I brought that up earlier. Breathing apparatus, highly tuned senses. My fucking throat. Okay. Jesus Christ. It's so annoying. Okay. That's what I get for smoking cigars, okay? That's what I get. Shouldn't be doing that. I haven't done it. And yesterday, I took like one hit of a cigar. Today, I haven't at all. So we're doing good. Things are looking up. So funny. I just started watching, I think it's season 2, episode 3 of Fallout on Amazon Prime. So funny. There's a scene where the ghoul, and her name's Lucy. I don't remember the ghoul's name. I love him though, the actor that plays him. Yeah, he's like one of my favorite actors. I had to look his name up because honestly I didn't know. His name's Walton Goggins. Anyway, in the scene, she's like, I'm itchy and I'm hungering. Have you ever been itchy and uncomfortable and hungering for something that's not food? And he's like, yeah, it's called you're addicted to drugs. Because she almost like died, and then if you ever played the game Fallout, there's like drugs that you could find that will like help you to revive yourself. One of them's called Jet. And then so I guess they gave her some of that stuff, and then she became addicted. You become addicted to it if you take like too much or whatever. And then you have to get like this stuff to make you like not addicted, but you have to find it. Otherwise you have to wait it out. Anyway, so he was saying like, you know, you're gonna have to wait like 5 days or take more drugs, and she's like, I guess I'll take more. And then like they come across some enemies, and she just takes them all out. So it's just so funny because she's so like goody two shoes, and then you see the side of her, and it's so funny. And then she asks him for a cigarette. She's like, do you have any cigarettes? And he's like, one addiction at a time. And that just made me die laughing. If you guys watch it, it's so funny. It was so funny to me. And I was thinking about that today. I was like, yeah, one addiction at a time, Tara. Like, chill out, bro. Chill. You don't need cigars. Okay. Tobacco can be good though if it's good quality for rituals, for cleansing, getting rid of negative spirits and stuff. That's honestly why I really like it. It helps with my anxiety, but the quality that I'm able to access is not good, and it will mess you up. So I gotta order some. There's like ceremonial tobacco you could order like on some native sites. I need to do that. Okay. Anyway, also tobacco, by the way, it can be used as a salve for wounds, so it can be super beneficial. Alright, where were we? Studying unconscious energies. So the caution is like pretending to plumb to the depths, doing things for show, escapism, feeling gloomy, no light, no oxygen, isolation and dark thoughts, narrow outlooks, depression. Yeah, so you might be an introvert. The idea of depression and isolation came up a lot. The past year, I've been struggling with that so badly. But like making videos and stuff is helping me a lot. It's just hard with having friendships and stuff because a lot of times people will put you at risk and invade your boundaries and stuff like that, and it's hard to navigate, but you can't just give up on life. Like, life is so boring without other people, you know? Like, having friends is so much fun. Anyway, just don't give up on it, I guess, is the message here. All right, children on a swing in the safety of a huge oak tree. Ooh, oak trees, we love that. This symbol shows the need or the desire to be protected, to have a safe, fun place to live and live where life is carefree and to be enjoyed. It is easier to relax in a carefree, childlike play when your protection, safety, and security are ensured. You may feel like some relief from responsibility, or you may provide this umbrella of protection for others. There is a need to be able to relax and to play safe in the knowledge that everything will remain secure. It is good to keep in touch with the innocence and the openness of youthful attitudes. Oak trees infer enormous inner strength, dependability, and protection from the harsh realities of life. Creativity in safe surroundings, social security and other government protection or the lack of them. Being able to stay in one place, taking time off, child protection, the caution, expecting others to take responsibility while one just plays, feeling disadvantaged, lack of protection, no place to feel safe, not wanting to grow up. So again, with the balance thing, like having a balance between being playful and being safe. Just being aware of what's going on in your environment, not getting too lost in the moment, and always being alert is a good survival skill, okay? Also, being available to provide a safe space, being willing to go out into the world. Say you have children, go outside with them while they play. Don't just let them run outside by themselves unless you have like a completely gated, fenced in. I mean, but still, like, being there for those that can't protect themselves because they're too little, or they're not strong, or they're disabled, or whatever. Like, giving them opportunity to have fun and express themselves, and then you also having fun with them is the key there. Anyway, all right, North Node, Aquarius. During a silent hour, a person receives a new inspiration which may change their life. A silent hour, again, that's like going into quiet contemplation. That's been coming up a lot and stuff. This symbol shows the ability or the need to notice those moments of inspiration that come through you and act to move, inspire, propel, or goad you into changing your life. So being open to receiving the messages. Taking time out, having a silent hour, even if it's only just 5 minutes, can regularly bring you new ideas, solutions, and breakthrough realizations. Tapping into that flow state. Everyone has access to the flow state, okay? And certain ideas and stuff are available. I believe certain ideas and stuff like that are available to certain people or certain groups of people. And it's a matter of who taps into it and actually puts it into the world. Because there's ideas and things that they need to be in the world in order for things to move forward. So if you're feeling like you have no opportunities, nothing's moving forwards for you, you need to tap into that flow state. In quiet contemplation, you could do, what is it called? Where you take paper and you just write your thoughts randomly. If you go look at my Instagram, I've done that a lot. And people have said my Instagram looks like Jeffrey Dahmer's diary or something. And I'm like, thanks, buddy. That's what I was going for. But if you actually read like my notes and stuff, they're pretty insightful. I believe there's a lot of information on there that like would help a lot of people if they actually read it. But yeah, that's called something. I'm gonna Google it. I can't think of the word right now. Alright, so it's basically called like stream of consciousness writing. So you're writing without thinking. You're just writing. And then whatever comes out. You can also think while you're writing. I mean, but if you're having a hard time with inspiration and stuff, that can help. And then that could actually bring you into... Then you can expand on whatever comes out in that free writing. I mean, not free writing, automatic writing. That's not even the word. Stream of consciousness writing. That's not even the word that, like... That's not even the word I was looking for, but I can't, like, remember what it is. But yeah, this can cause huge shifts in your life if you tap into this. Okay, and then we really need to wrap this all up. I don't know how much more we have, but oh my god. There's so much more. Oh my god. You know, if you guys want me to do more on this, you know what? Let's just finish. We'll finish. A group of people who have overeaten, we already did that. Soldier receiving rewards, we already did that. General accepting defeat, we already did that. An albatross feeding from the hands of a sailor. So I'm just going to read the question. Manipulating events or people, false nourishment, superstitious beliefs that keep one stuck, fear of things like snakes and spiders or other living things. Actually, I'll read a little bit of the other part. Putting up a wall between you and other living things can cause alienation or the loss of rewards that can come from truly relating. Even seemingly natural enemies can realize the possibility of interaction. Okay, yeah. So, like, a lot of these are just kind of repeating the same message, but it's important if it's repeating itself. One of the symbols I recall was saying something about, like, being able to make friends with people that you would never think you would make friends with, or like to look at someone as a friend even if like you don't really like them. I don't know. That's like unconditional love. That's like Godhead love. You know, you could see the beauty in literally everyone and everything. It doesn't mean though that like if someone's being toxic and hurt, like literally purposely hurting you, or they could even unpurposely be doing it, but it's like ignorant, and it's like, okay, you know, if you really cared about me, you wouldn't have done this thing. That's different, all right? But to just judge a book by its cover and not give it a chance, that's what's the caution here is, like allowing yourself to be open to getting to know people that you might not typically want to get to know, okay? What else? A cafeteria with an abundance of choices. Excuse me, spiritual burp. We'll call it spiritual burp. Really, it's because I just drank some coffee. There are so many choices, but each choice has its price, so be careful what you choose. Each will nourish you, but some things are far more nourishing and sustaining than others. Okay, so this is like kind of expanding on that, what I just said. However, there's so much on display and available that if you don't like your first choice, you can get something else. That is, if you can afford it. Take what you need, enjoy it, and realize the abundance that's happening in your life. Make sure that what you get is good quality, as many things are not. Overwhelming alternatives, having one's hunger satisfied versus satiation. So like creating a system where you can ask someone questions, evaluate a person, or say it's actually food that we're talking about here. Evaluating the choices of food that you have. Weighing the pros and the cons. Not just judging based on appearances, based on a commercial you saw, or whatever. Okay? Finding the true value, the true depth. That's like that Lilith placement was talking about diving deep into the depths. Not being superficial. Got brought up like 7 times. Okay, a crowded public marketplace. This symbol shows the ability or the need to be able to advertise, market, and sell things, barter, and complete the deal. People come together, bring their talents, skills, and wares to the marketplace. Being involved in the marketplace is the thing, and how much you are involved will show the things you need to do and the tempo of the buying and selling. It can indicate the issue of having one's self or goods on display and ready for sale. You may find that you are able to contribute benefit and gain. Getting yourself or your products out there where they can be appreciated can bring rewards on many levels. So it's a good time to share your creations, okay? Or even yourself, right? Like your message and stuff like that. And it's going to be hard at first, it's going to feel uncomfortable, but eventually it will get easier and easier. The caution, too greedy to share, airing one's dirty laundry, emotions, or possessions in public. I'm not really sure what that means. Like, okay, so, like, probably, like, explode, like, showing, like, negative emotions in public, or, like, too extreme of an emotion in public that, like, it's just, like, random, or it's, like, personal. It's not, like, something that involves anybody else on the street or in the market. It's like you're arguing with your friend over something stupid, okay? And then you start screaming at them or something like that. Like, don't do that. Not having a shopping list. So, yeah, the shopping list, that's what I was saying, like, with the list, with the other thing. Being prepared. What do you want in a friendship? What do you want in this, in products? What do you want? Now, what does that look like in your option, in your choices, in your plethora of choices? Which of these choices actually factually aligns with what you want? And not based off of the packaging or the label. Well, the label would tell you, actually, typically, right? But I'm talking about figuratively with, like, say, with people, okay? Anyway, okay. A cafeteria, okay, I'm going the wrong way. Oops. A duck pond and its young brood. This symbol speaks of families being with and caring for youngsters and for each other. Sometimes there could be a feeling of being restricted and bound in by energy, but then there's often a feeling of being safe. Sometimes we need to remind ourselves of the comforting things around us. Finding friends or family that enrich one's life can lead to a sense of community, belonging, and love. Although one may sometimes wish for more exciting adventures, it feels good to have a place to hang one's hat. Nurture family and contentment. Realize limitations, reliability. So this goes back to that whole things like providing a safe space, having fun, creating that home environment that feels comforting and warm and inviting is super important. The problems and the joys and the responsibility of having a brood to look after. It can be very difficult to have a family, especially if you're doing it by yourself. I speak from experience. It's extremely difficult. But it's important to do your best to make sure your house is clean as possible. Your kids, your family, whether it's children or elderly that, like your mom or your dad that's elderly, or you're taking care of, whatever it may be. You may be taking care of your niece and nephew, whatever your case may be. Just making sure that their needs are provided for, and, some of their wants, so they're not miserable, right? But not everybody can get everything they want all the time. So also not swaying too much on the other side. And then also keeping up your boundaries and your limitations, or acknowledging your boundaries and your limitations and maintaining them, okay? Not letting your family pass them. Overstep them, I mean. Okay, and then I don't know why I keep scrolling up. A squirrel hiding from hunters. This symbol shows the need or the ability to be able to sense when to be moving and when to stop, when to be out in the world and when to be hiding away. There may be a heightened sense of awareness or alertness, and possibly an ability to hear or perceive subtle things in the environment. At times in your life, there may be aggression in the air, and you probably one of the smaller players. You may feel threatened sometimes, and this can come from out of the blue. Not watching the news and not listening to negative stories can be one way of hiding away. To be cautious is wise, but hiding oneself away can lead to missed opportunities for nourishment. Be wary of being bullied or holed up. So what's going on in the world can be super scary and really suck, but at the same time, you can't let that keep you hiding. That's not living. That's not living at all. That's being a coward, We don't want to be coward. We don't need more cowards. Okay? If you speak up against injustice and you get unalive for it, oh well, like at the end of the day, yeah, it sucks, but at least you weren't a coward and did nothing, right? Because 9 times out of 10, the person that didn't speak up and didn't say nothing, they're gonna get unalive too. That's how it works. They don't care. Whoever's, pulling the strings, like, they don't care. What matters is your integrity. And at the end of the day, I have the highest faith that you will be rewarded. There is greater powers at work, in my opinion. And yeah, don't be afraid, okay? That's the caution, like fear. Do not be afraid. Don't isolate yourself. That's really important right now. Alright, Pluto, Capricorn, 10 logs lie under an archway leading to darker woods. This symbol shows the ability or the need to be able to get past obstacles, to continue pushing forward even when events or people stand in your way. Sometimes, however, you may not know where you're heading. Is this the usual path, or are you heading off onto a new path? One that's more mysterious. You may feel as though you're on a path that is difficult and mysterious. You may need to prepare for a journey into the unknown. It's likely to be an important journey, one of destiny, but at times you may not know where it is leading to. Learning to be well prepared is part of the trick, as is the need to create some safeguards before continuing to the unknown. So yeah, like having contingency plans. If you don't know what that means, maybe look it up. I'll try to explain, but I'm on a dictionary. Contingency plan is just a plan, a backup plan. Okay, it's just a backup plan. So not just having one plan of action, but having multiple. So like if this goes wrong, like drawing a little map, like if this goes wrong, can you see? I don't. This is the original plan. If it goes wrong, you have, in this way, you could deal with it over here in whatever way you come up with. If it goes wrong in this way, then you could come up with another idea. And then, branch out from there or whatever. That's how that works. Also, making sure you have things like first aid on hand. Things to patch people up. Stitches. Rubbing alcohol. Hydrogen peroxide. Iodine. Super important. Gauze pads. Medical tape. Band-aids. What is that thing called? Where if you that like tie thing that you tie around a wound if you need to like cut off the stuff. If you're going out in the desert, that thing that sucks out venom would be helpful. Or if you're going in the woods, if there's poisonous spiders around, things like that. Okay, thinking about wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, what can you do to make the situation the best outcome possible for you to succeed in the goal of whatever it is that you're going there for, okay? Alright, anyway, next one. That's it. We already did all these. Alright, guys, well, that's all I have for you today. I really hope that you enjoyed this, that this helped. If it didn't, oh well. Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!